So my opinion counts for nothing. Anybody else's opinion counts for nothing until it has been tested and measured. And the only person's opinion that really counts is your customer voting with their credit card. Okay? Until a sale happens, nothing happens. Right? You're not in business. You're not in business until someone pays you money for your services, because you have convinced them to trust you. Okay? You've given them a call to action. You said, here's all the dancing that we've done. I've shown you who I am. I've taken you out to dinner, etc., etc. Now will you marry me? Right? You wouldn't just leave it. Now, how many people on their websites? Would you please raise your hands again? Make sure you're awake. Do you have on any page on your website, are you asking anybody to do anything? Right? Are you saying, put your name in here if you would like to get more information from me about this thing that I do that will help you make your life better? Yes. One person. I can't believe there's only one. Right. Okay. Is it written in the same way that you would say it to someone like this? Can you remember? I'm assuming that not everyone in here is married, but everyone, I assume, in here has fallen in love at some stage and has asked someone, has told someone that they love them. Right? Do you talk to the people that visit your website like you talk to people in the real world, or do you talk to them as if you're some sort of robot that are trying to hide your personality away and say, we provide world-class services that are second to none, and and it's like, no one wants to hear that, right? Okay. They might be so desperate for your product, if there's no competing products that are more enticing, they might be so desperate for it that they'll push you out the way if your offer is good enough, okay? So if you happen to be Bill Gates, and this is your secretary, right, it's a different story. The offer is so damn good, she can't turn you down, okay? But most of us aren't, all right? So, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong in between that asking and result. Now you think, this girl, now we're talking about measurements, right? Do you think that that dress, how many times it was measured, adjusted, fitted over months? Has anyone here ever been married or had a friend who got married and been involved in all of the stuff that goes on around a wedding dress? Okay? There's a lot of measuring, refitting. Do you think that a wedding dress would look anything like as good, or the bride would be as happy on the day, if it wasn't for all of that measurement, changes, adjustments, so that it was as perfect as it could be on the day? Right? If the person who does it said, like, well, look, we'll just get this white thing and I'll just, and sure, it'll be grand. It'll one size fits all. Who would want that? Okay? And do you want that for your own business? All right? So once this is the end goal, right? The contract being signed, the deal being accepted. Right? So signed, sealed, and delivered. Now you have the beginning of a long-term relationship. Do you think it's easier to go and get another wife, or to look after this one? Right? Do you think that that guy there should just say, oh, well done, did it, now I'm just going to go out and ignore her and go out and go to the party again? Or would it be easier for him to just, look after her? Would you think which is going to make him happier in the long run? Okay? So looking after your customers after you get the bloody sale is hugely important, right? Just as it is in the real world. Will you be my friend? Yes, okay, great. Will you be my friend? Yes, okay, will you be my friend? No, that's not how it works, okay? That's not being a friend at all. And that's not like having someone be your friend on Facebook who isn't your friend, or being connected to you on LinkedIn who you actually never have any intention of ever talking to, but you want to have a big number there because you think it might impress people. That's pointless, right? Unless you're measuring and there's some metric that tells you, all right, if I get 1,000 people, then I'm going to get this many sales and whatever. It'll be a bit of a sad life if that's how you're actually doing it, because Facebook and everything is more about this, okay? Now, you've got the wedding party, right? And now there's all these other people that you can say, marriage is such a wonderful thing, you should get married. Look at that bridesmaid, and she fancies you, you know. Look at your man, you know, whatever. Didn't he just win the lotto last week? You know, so the whole thing is that it's a cycle. Okay, and the sales funnel is that there's a lot of people, potential customers, and they jump off your website at every opportunity unless you woo them all the way through that sales process. Okay. How am I for time here? Oh, I've got 1 minute left. I might take 3 minutes. Okay. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was, yes. So you need to measure where your customers are coming from. Right. So how did they find you? What keywords did they type in? What were they looking for? What was the problem they were trying to solve? Does the page that they arrived on, does your ad that you stuck in front of them on Google, or does the page that they arrive on your website, does it answer that question that they had? Because if it doesn't, they're going to bounce. They will leave within a few seconds. Does your website, you know, talk to them like a person? Does it give them a reason to think that you're a credible, real organization or person, that you have an offer that is worth accepting? All right? Because I can tell you now, like if your offer is great, everything else will be trumped by it. Okay, so if you're giving away Ferraris, you know, for a $5, people don't care what you say. They're going to kick you out the way to get the last Ferrari. But if you're trying to sell my car for like, you know, $2,000, you know, you'd be lucky. You know, if I could convince one person in this room, I'd be really lucky. But I can tell you now, I wouldn't convince him to buy anything else off me ever again. Okay? So that's the thing, is that you need to be thinking about, is this transaction going to lead to more transactions with this person and with their friends? Okay, so that's what online marketing is. All right, so here we are, back to the first slide. Does anybody here think they should not be measuring stuff on their website? Okay. Does anybody here think they should be measuring stuff on their website? Just raise your hands if you think you should. All right. Do you think you should be measuring sales? Keep your hands up. Okay. Are you going to go out and do something about that tomorrow? Okay. Because if you don't measure the sales and you don't track which marketing channel brought those people to you, you are. Has everyone heard of the 80-20 rule? Okay, it's not really 80-20, but it's kind of roughly that. You know, 80% of the people own 20% of the land, and the other 20% own 80% of it. All right, 80% of your marketing spend results in 20% of your sales, and 20% of your marketing spend results in 80% of your sales. If you don't know which is which, then you are throwing away money. If you take that 80% that is not giving you a good return and reinvest it in the same marketing channel as the 20% or marketing channels, then you will triple your business. Okay? You'll get three times more business just by doing that, just by measuring it, and it costs you nothing to measure it, except a little bit of time and a little bit of thinking. And if you can't do it, there's plenty of people that can do it for you. So, has anybody got any questions?
Yes.
Yeah?
You are talking about customers coming back and having returns. But do you believe that advertising at times, the impact is not immediately felt until it's not grown? If you advertise maybe on social networks or any other place, but the customer might try to study the impact of that particular advertising. The customer might not come immediately until maybe like 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. So you're building a relationship with your customer. Yes. Okay. Social media is hard to measure. Doesn't mean you shouldn't measure it though. Okay. And it doesn't mean you should be fooled into thinking that it's going to take 3 years. All right. If you're taking 3 years to get a customer, then you really need to be like Apple. Okay, and have a long-term plan. I mean, it's a good idea to have that, but I would invest in customers that you can get next month or next week rather. Spend your time there, unless you're really, really rich and you have the time and energy to wait 3 years for your customers to graduate from college and start buying the CDs from you. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Is that like invest in the stuff that's going to work the quickest, and invest in stuff that's going to work the easiest. You know, like why make your life hard? Does everyone else have a question? Yeah?
I was wondering now, we just have like a very high number of visitors to the website every week, and there are bookings like 10% of our bookings are online. So
Yeah.
we know these are on 7 or 8 minutes by a good time. So we can't explain why the level of online bookings is so low.
What's the conversion rate from visitors to sales? Do you know?
Like would be less than 10%.
Less than 10%. Actually, 10% is quite good, believe it or not. Most websites have a conversion rate of about 2% or less.
The number of visitors is 6 times. But we did one survey of 270 people while they went on to the booking channel, and the 3 people said they wanted to check other dates or whatever. So this one, how deeply do you go into it? Because
What I would do is this, okay? Doing a survey is good. It's better to measure their behavior by doing tests, okay? What I would do is do a split test. Design different headlines, design different calls to action, different buttons, okay? Test those sort of things and say like, are they jumping out because they're probably looking at a few other hotels around Galway at the same time? That one might be cheaper, it might be closer to what they're looking for. Maybe it's just it could be just the content on your page doesn't maybe talk about the the events that are happening right beside you, and some other hotel is talking about that they overlook the race, the boat race coming up, so it just really depends on a lot of stuff. But the only way you're going to find out is by testing and measuring your visitors' behavior, because you can, if I ask you a whole bunch of questions and I measure that and believe that, you will all go out, well, not all of you, but a lot of you will go out and behave the exact opposite way than what you said, all right? Because we like to fool ourselves. We can't help it. We say things and we think we mean them, but we behave in the exact opposite way a lot of the time. So measure your visitors' behavior rather than what they say. If their behavior is different to what they say, believe that rather than their opinions. So and have very open-ended surveys as well. As I was going to say, like if you give people 3 check boxes, they're going to check one of those instead of telling you the real answer. So I've gone way over my time. So if there's any more questions, we'll leave them until the end. And I apologise for.
No, perfect. Thanks very much.